Hello out there. My name is Amy Blackthorn, and I have been invited by the lovely Laurell K Hamilton to join this channel and talk to you about my experience as a traditionally published author in a niche subject. I write books on green witchcraft and other magical specialties, I should say, and I have published 7 books in the last 6 years, so I'm very excited. The first 5 have all been released up until this point, and the later 2 will be out in August and September, respectively. 5 bestsellers in 4 years is a pretty great start. Now, having said that, I never thought that I'd get book 1, much less 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was over the moon when I got my first book contract, but it didn't just appear out of nowhere. I thought my very first book was going to be fiction. From the time I was in kindergarten, I wanted a book with my name on it. I didn't think that was feasible, and so I figured I'd get to work doing what I really love and talking to plants and talking to people about plants. So rather than charge full ahead and write a book and get it out there, I decided to build my name first. I took jobs writing a Witchcraft Dear Abby magazine column in a book called Thorn magazine. I started my own blog. I made sure that I got it out there in some pagan and witchcraft spaces, and I taught classes based on my own experiences as a British traditional witch and working with plants, sort of blending those two genres in my head and really getting out there to discuss how that affected my magical witchcraft practice. I went to a specialty school for horticulture for 2 years. It was a 1-year program. I went back for a second year as a student teacher, was able to do my own individual projects. So I would let my school give me space to grow witchcraft herbs and get, graded on it. So I was really lucky to be able to have the experience of going out, teaching classes, nationally at first and then internationally eventually, on what witchcraft is and how to bring those practices into your daily life and really reconnect with the people and the plants around you in the space in which you're living. I had my column for a number of years. I had my blog even longer, but I didn't know how to break into actually writing books. The longest thing I had written at that point was probably 1,000 words. When I got to college, I just kept pounding the pavement and really honing in my knowledge on my own particular subjects. If I had to write a class in issues in law enforcement, I made it about the plants that people interacted with. I was building that bibliography for eventually writing books. I did a 35-page thesis on creating rituals involving plants that actually got me some really great reviews. It wasn't until I ran into Judica Isles, who is a dear friend. My friend Natalie Zaman, we wrote Social Media Magic. Comes out in August. The social media spells 366 ways to get witchy on the web. Be out August 20th. Natalie and I went to visit Judica at a second floor walk-up shop in the Bronx in New York. December of 2017. Probably. She was doing a class on the Witches of Yule. And during intermission, she came over and sat down, wanted to say hi. And she leans over and says, "Amy, why aren't you writing for us?" I don't know what to say to that because I don't know who us is. Oh, I recently became an editor at Wiser Books. I'd love to hear if you're working on something and we could get a chat. I told her about the book that I was really, really wanting to write, but I thought I had to write a whole book to be able to get it in the hands of someone like Judica. And she said, no, my dear. Non-fiction work is sold on the proposal. I don't have to have a whole book written. I didn't have to know that I could write a whole book. We're just going to work on the proposal. So she asked, who are you? What do you want to write? Why should we let you write it? Why does it need to be written in the first place? Plus a sample table of contents and 3 chapters. That's all. My first proposal was about 40 pages. I had this looming mountain of 250, 300, 400 pages in my head and had no idea how to get over that hump. So Judica said, we talked about it. She said, I'd love to hear that. I'd love to see it in proposal form. Please get it to me whenever you can. That sounds amazing, and I really think we can do something with that. And so I did. It took a year. It took a lot. Most of that time was spent dealing with imposter syndrome. There's no way I can do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know who I thought I was kidding. Most of that time, and now even years later, most of the time I spend is talking myself out of my own way. All that to say is that when you know this is something that you want to do, when you know this is something that sets your soul on fire, not a person in the world can stop you. Only you. All of the naysayers in the world mean nothing when it's something that comes from your heart and it has to get out. When people ask Laurell about writing, she said, writers write. You can't encourage them because they're going to do it anyway. And she's absolutely right. There are days that I sit down and I look at my computer and I go, okay, am I really doing this? Yes. What does my process look like? Especially when I was working on Blackthorn's Botanical Magic, it was really important that I establish a routine, but build in enough flexibility that I'm not going to beat myself up for it later. That's not why we're here. I would sit down with a natural water diffuser, I'd fill it up, and then I'd put a drop of whatever plant I was working with that day. Rosemary. Just place one drop in the rosemary, put it on a lid, and I would diffuse it in my space, make sure that I really connected with the material I was writing that day. No matter what it is that I'm talking about, no matter where it is that I'm writing, if I'm on the road, if I'm on tour promoting a book, getting myself connected to my material is the most important, but sometimes hardest part. So if I'm connected with frankincense, I can just put a drop of frankincense in there and take a deep breath and dig in. Even if that means that I sit and write, I have no idea what I'm doing today. By the next minute or two, a few sentences in, you're absolutely giving yourself the opportunity to move in and dig into what you need to be doing. Because we can have all the faith in the world in you, but you're the one who has to sit down and write it. If you'd like to follow along, you can follow me here on TikTok and Instagram, Amy Blackthorn Author. You can also check out my books on amyblackthorn.com. See the first 30 pages for free of each of my books. I want you to know that what I have to say is what you want in your head. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. Bye.